accordance with Executive Order N29-20 issued by California Governor Gavin Newsom on March 17, 2020. The Ralph M. Brown Act, California Government Code Section 54950, and the Federal Americans with Disability Act. This meeting will not be physically open to the public. All members of the public may participate in the meeting via video conference at https://zoom.us/zoom.954674215598, passcode 306587, and via teleconference by calling 669-900-6833, meeting ID 954-6742-1598, with passcode of 306587, and will be given the opportunity to provide public comment. Let's go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remaining standing for the invocation. Ready? Begin. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty, justice for all.
We're close to all the one time. Leroy, would you read on?
Yes. Please stay with me in this prayer. God, truth of enlightenment, trust us now as we meet together so that we each have a clear understanding of the issue we need to discuss. Give us clarity on our purpose of this meeting and what objectives we should accomplish in this meeting. May these objectives keep us on track, and may the bond together with a common goal. May these objectives drive each of us to actively participate rather than just passively listen. May this meeting be lively, productive, and may the desired outcome be achieved. Amen.
Amen. Moving on to item number 4, roll call.
Councilmember Ball. Councilmember McDonald. Here. Councilmember Pimentel. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Candia. Mayor Graham.
Here. All right. 4 with 1 missing. Item number 5, declarations of conflicts. Are there any declarations of conflicts for tonight?
No.
All right, seeing none. Moving on to item number 6, ceremonial matters. There are none. Item number 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. If you wish to speak tonight on a non-agenda item, go ahead and raise your hand through the Zoom or chat, and you will be recognized by Ms. Fuller.
I see no raised hands and no chats.
Okay. Moving on to item number 8, consent calendar. Waive all readings of ordinance and resolutions except by title. B, approve all warrants. C, approval of minutes of the February 23rd, 2021 meeting. D, adopt resolution 2021 next number, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Newman authorizing entering into a funding agreement with the State Water Resource Control Board and authorizing and designating representatives from the Newman Environmental Wetland System News Project.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
I have first, do I have a second?
I'll second.
The first and a second, motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4 with 1 absent. Number 9, public hearings. There are none tonight. Item number 10, regular business. Item number A, adopt resolution 2021 next number, a resolution approving the application for statewide park development and community Revitalization Program grant funds for the Newman Nature Park and authorizing the city manager to execute the all documents.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take this item. As you know, a lot of you have participated already to this point to talk about how we could develop a piece of the project site out at the 70-acre site where we're going to put our stormwater treatment system and where we have our restored wetland area, and part of that's going to be designated as a park, we hope. So if you remember, you approved RRM Design Group to do some outreach for us with the community. And so I'd like to introduce April Miller. She's with RRM Design Group, and she's going to talk about our efforts up to this point, and then I'll continue the item on. So April, take it away.
Thank you, Catherine.
Looks like she is there. Thank you, April.
Thank you. Great. It looks like you can see my screen, so I'll just proceed. The community did early outreach in 2019 at the Newman Together Fall Festival and Fall Harvest Market. And then building upon that initial community input, we held 3 additional outreach events in February. All 3 were conducted virtually via Zoom to align with COVID protocols. The first event was a workshop on February 10th at 6 p.m. The purpose of this meeting was to hear the community's big ideas and talk about wants and needs for the Newman Nature Park. The second event was a design charrette on February 17th at 2 p.m. The purpose of this event was to draw on those ideas and plan the park, actually drawing design ideas onto the site plan. And who came to the workshop, they were actually participating in the design of that. The third event was a workshop format on February 25th at 6 p.m. The purpose of this event was to gather the community's feedback and preferences on the 2 options for the park that were developed from all the input we had received so far. We had a very active and engaged group at all the events, 52 people between the 3 meetings. We had individuals and families join the call, as well as some young people and seniors. And from all the ideas we heard, the ideas with the greatest support from the community included the following: a trail for hiking and biking with varying distance loops, rest areas and a place to view wildlife, wetland, and open space, fitness equipment station so people could get outside and exercise outside the gym, a nature-themed play area, a covered picnic area and picnic tables, community gathering and learning area that could have education signage and be used for school field trips, landscaping that would include a pollinator garden, drought-tolerant and native plantings, and provide additional habitat, and a parking lot and restroom facility. I'll hand it back to you, Catherine.
Thank you, April. The plan before you is a concept where we took all the ideas that the community presented to us during the 3 outreach meetings and the earlier meetings at our community events. And they're shown on this conceptual design as kind of a placeholder. This isn't exactly where each item will be placed, and the trail is probably the most reflected of how it will occur during the design process. But this effort is very conceptual, and so right now we're working on a budget, and so the budget within the grant guidelines and the available funding will fine-tune the features that we're going to be able to present and ask for. April's working really hard on the budget, and it's very intense to determine how much all this stuff will cost. And so in the future, we won't actually have like a formal design meetings, but we will take everything the community shared with us, which is reflected on this conceptual plan, and then we'll develop it into, when we get funded, I don't want to say if, but when we get funded, we will bring all these ideas together into an actual construction document. And that project would be brought back before you for approval if we were funded to accept the grant, and the council would definitely be involved more. I do anticipate presenting this out at some of the farmers markets. You know, God willing, we'll be able to have some in public meetings, and I can go out and kind of keep people in the loop on where we are in the process. It's a pretty exciting plan, and really trying to incorporate everything that the community told us they wanted out there that fits for the site. The item before you specifically is to authorize the city manager to execute the documents and apply for the grant. The grant is due March 12th, and so with this, if this item is adopted and you adopt the resolution, this will authorize us to apply for the grant, which will be the result of all our efforts that we've been making. I want to thank everybody in the community and the mayor and council members that were able to attend, and I'd especially like to thank RRM for their efforts that they've put into this. There's no impact to the general fund at this time for applying for this. It basically just gives us permission to apply with the city manager's authority. And I'll take any questions if you have them.
Council, do we have any questions for Catherine?
I have a question about it.
Sure.
How about a bike path that you couldn't take bicycles on Canal School to Barraza Road, whatever? That bike path should start right at the corner of the residentials and feed into your walking path. But that's about the safest way if someone's going to ride a bicycle there. So that's all I got to say about that.
And I just to keep everyone in the loop, we're in discussions on how we could safely get bikers from the residential areas to the site. And so that you may see a project like that come in the future. As you know, projects take sometimes several years to develop, but we've already, put it on the table to where we can start talking about it, seeing if there's funding, see how it would kind of work. And so that is a concern that we all share.
Very good.
Just a rough estimate, how big are the loops, the walking loops, the trails?
So the total trail, as featured here, is about 1.2 miles. That's with the loops added together and the big part of the trail. And so we think we're going to be able to sustain that. The smaller loop is if you want to take a shorter walk, and then kind of a medium loop, and then you can go all in and get out there in the wilderness. I actually walked the whole site last week to get some photos. And man, I didn't realize how it doesn't look big on this conceptual drawing, but when you're out there walking it, you're like, wow, it's going to be a really nice trail. It's a big area.
I have a quick question for you, Kathy. Once you have gotten the grant together and you've been approved for the grant, is that money, some of that money is going to be for improvement of the road work, or is that another project?
That's a different project. This will be whatever we list in the budget. That's what this park money will be used for, and it's basically going to cover what we see within the limits of this drawing.
Okay,
because
I know that we had discussed that maybe about a year or so ago in reference to canal. Is that road basically has been pretty messed up for some years now, and I know that at one point in time Mike had mentioned that that's something that's been on you guys' agenda is to basically take care of that road work.
Yep, that is a different project. It is currently in design. Part of it's been obligated, and which means that the federal funding is there. We've actually asked for a bigger piece of that pie of federal dollars so we can actually get more of Canal School done. And that'll be coming to you guys sooner rather than later, I hope.
Yeah, and I think the key to that too, the years I've been in the construction management part, is that that work should not be done until at the same time that the park is being done.
Yes.
The area that we're going to do for the I call it a park, but it's a recreation piece that you're doing there. My mind is just got, yeah, and I think that I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just
going
going
to say that. Go ahead.
Go, Kathy.
Go for it, Catherine.
I was just going to say that all these projects, they kind of tie together, but not, and we're trying to coordinate doing some utility projects and then doing the roadway. That includes Inyo and Canal School. And then this project is about a 3-year time frame from applying, being awarded, and then going into construction. And so I hope to have the roadway done on Canal School and Inyo before this project ever comes to construction. And then in the meantime, we're going to be doing the news project that you guys just accepted the grant in the consent calendar. And then also the restored wetland project that's occurring now. We're the closest to that project being constructed. So then we'll know what limits we need to put the trail. So they're all tied together, and we're bouncing all those balls in a nice juggle, and hopefully it's going to work out wonderfully.
I'm just, I guess I was just curious about, if the road work is done, and then once this park project is started to go under construction, and that you're may have heavy equipment on that road to where it might be damaged. In reference
If
to
they damage it, I'm going to make them fix it.
So,
I have a question. If I recall, was it 15 years ago? They redid that whole road. Who was the construction place who did that work on Canal School about 15 years ago? They shut the whole road down for a while, for like a month. Do you recall that?
No, I haven't been here that long.
right,
You
it's
need
before
to.
Kathy's time.
Sir, Mike does. Mike knows. Michael.
That happened occurred right before I got here, council member. So,
Wow. So that's 17 years ago.
yeah, that's 18 years ago. So that was under the construction of when they built that phase of Lucas Ranch there.
Right.
And by our estimations, they didn't put a strong enough sub base.
No.
And that's why the road is deteriorating. They didn't design it to the appropriate standard. And
But
so
they-
that's why we're getting a lot of deterioration. That road also gets a lot of traffic though. But we can talk about that afterwards.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the issue.
Yeah.
So, I'll go ahead and open up to the public. Anybody wishing to speak on it from the public, go and raise your hand or chat, and you'll be acknowledged.
No raised hands or chats at this time.
I'll bring you back to the council for action.
Move to approve.
Gotta read the whole thing.
Move to approve to adopt resolution 021, resolution approving the application for statewide park development and conservation program grant funds for the Newman nature park and authorizing the city manager to execute all of them.
I have a first, do I have a second?
Second it.
I have a first and a second, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 4 with 1 absent. Moving on to
Thank
regular
you.
item number B.
Thank you.
Adopt resolution 2021, next number, initiating and proceeding to vacate and abandon a section of Fresno Street and notice of hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. I will take this one. This is another one that kind of dates back probably before a lot of us were here. It actually dates back to 1982, and in 1982, the city council at that time abandoned Fresno Street. between Highway 33 and the railroad tracks. They did that to allow for the safe development and expansion of the operation of Damari Brothers Company, which at that time didn't go from Merced Street all the way to Kern Street. It just kind of did a little bit in the middle. But Damari was being so successful, they worked with the council to abandon that so that they could ultimately expand their business. Originally, Fresno Street in that portion led to a railroad depot spot in that area there, and that railroad depot was actually closed in 1979. So the council found that it wasn't prudent to keep that operating, and they wanted to expand that company, allow that company to expand, excuse me. Then later in 1989, they went ahead and abandoned a portion of Fresno Street on the other side of the railroad track. I'm going to share my screen real quick. I hope you can see that. Yeah, there we go. So they abandoned this portion of Fresno Street up here where my cursor is moving in 1989. But interesting enough, they left this little island, this 80 foot by 76.5 foot island here. And from Fresno Street used to go all the way go through back, in the 70s. So at this point in time, this is the location of the Newman mini storage, and the same property owner who owns the mini storage owns properties on both the north and the south side of this island. So the property owners come to us and submitted an application to expand the mini storage, and they're asking that we abandon this. Seeing that it's not been used since, the late 80s, early 90s, no one can actually see it. We think it's prudent to go ahead and abandon and vacate this property. And then the property goes back, half goes to the property to the south, half goes to the property to the north. Similarly, we've done abandonments of Tulare Street and Stanislaus Street here in the last couple of years, because again, they weren't being used and maintained. So today we're in accordance with California Street and Highway Code 8324B. We're asking you to go ahead and initiate the proceedings to vacate and abandon this. If you go ahead and adopt this resolution initiating the proceedings, we will start the notification process to allow the public to know that there's going to be a meeting held on April 13th of this year, at which time the council will hear arguments in favor or against the abandonment of this little island, and then make a decision going from there. So with that, I can answer any questions that you may have.
I'll bring it back to the council for any questions.
I have a question. Hey, is that right where the gate opens up where you go into the little storage facility? Is that where that property's at?
It's 93 feet in from there.
93 feet in from the fence.
Correct.
So it's close to the railroad tracks then?
It's adjacent to the railroad track,
Right.
and then it goes in 76 feet towards Merced Street.
But there was really nothing you
not
could really
Merced
done
Street,
with
the
that
M Street,
property.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me? There was nothing you really could have done with that property. You couldn't build on it. The way I see it, I flew my drone up there, and there's really nothing you could put there. But yeah, we're getting rid of it. I get it.
Correct.
Okay.
It would allow the owner of the mini storage to expand.
Right.
In essence, we would get it back into private property, and then that person would ultimately pay property taxes on it.
I understand.
Do we have any more questions from the council? All right. I'll go ahead and open up to the public for any questions or comments. You can raise your hand or chat if you're interested in speaking on this topic.
No raised hands or chats. I not received any.
I'll bring it back to the council for action.
All motion, the adoption resolution 2021, inundating and proceeding to vacate and abandon a section of Fresno Street and notice of hearing.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4 with 1 absent. All right. Moving on to item number 11, items from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor. I see his Representative Russell's on. Russell, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good to be with you. Russell Fowler from Supervisor Chance Condit's office. Sorry, the Supervisor couldn't be with you tonight. He had a tour that ran a little bit long. So unfortunately, you get the B team tonight, but I'll do my best. Just wanted to say...
Oh, we lost you a little bit.
And I thought it was some great community input there, and I appreciate all the work that went into that. I also wanted to say, I spoke with your Parks Director a little bit earlier this week, and if you need any help with letters of support for grants or things like that, our office is more than happy to take a look. So just keep us in mind, and if there's anything we can do for you, I'd be happy to do so. A little bit on the COVID front, just wanted to tell you that Stanislaus County has begun vaccinating Phase 1B. This tier includes educators, child care workers, emergency services, food and ag. You must be over 18 years old and provide a proof of residency. And for more information on county clinic locations and this week's schedule can be found at the Stanislaus County Health Services Agency website. So that is available there. And then a little bit about rent relief. At the last week's Board of Supervisors meeting, the board approved the receipt of approximately $9 million from the federal government and $11 million from the state to help residents with rent relief. Those who are eligible need to meet various requirements that can receive help with rent, water, gas, electric, sewer, and internet payments. And for information on how to apply, please visit www.stanrentassist.com. As always, you can call the office for any assistance you might have, whether it be help with navigating these programs or any other matters. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Give us a call at 209-622-7485 or at conditc@stancounty.com. With that being said, I'll be happy to take any comments, questions, or concerns.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Is that, what's the update in terms of the vaccinations for the city of Newman?
I know that we had a clinic out there recently, so we were proud to have it out there and glad to have it out there. It took a lot of legwork, even though it shouldn't and it doesn't seem like it at times. But we remain committed to getting another vaccine clinic out there available for the residents. In our mind, one we're not going to settle with just one. So it's top of our list, and as soon as we know something, you'll know something. I'm happy to communicate with all of you in the community. But we'll have to wait and see what our allocation is for next week, and any chance we can advocate for getting the vaccine clinic back up to Newman, we'll do so.
Well, let me ask you this then. What was the participation on that? And Mike, you may want to answer this too, is that were we able to get notices out to the senior citizens?
To my knowledge, so don't write it in stone, and I'm happy to follow up with you on that offline, but all the vaccines that were brought to the community of Newman were used.
Did you say they were all used?
Correct.
Outstanding. Well, we definitely would like another one out here for the seniors, and as more notices we can get to allow them to be able to make it, that would be outstanding. So I appreciate it.
Like I said, we're not satisfied with one, so we'll continue to advocate where we can, and it'd be a happy day when we get another one out there.
I appreciate it. Any further questions for Representative Russell?
I do. I noticed that Rite Aid is not considered a hot spot. Is that because they're not giving shots out? Why isn't that a hot spot for downtown Newman, Rite Aid?
I'm sorry, if you could elaborate a little bit more on the...
Well, I believe the shots were supposed to be at Pioneer and supposed to be at Golden Valley. that I was reading up on. And then I asked Rite Aid, since that's where my pharmacy is, and they said, no, they will not be giving out COVID shots at all.
So unfortunately, I can only speak to county operations. I only am familiar with county operations. I know that we partnered with Golden Valley, and
Right.
and that's how we got that done. So I can't speak to Rite Aid's procedures or how
Okay.
they determine that at all. I can try to find an answer for you, but
Yeah, that would be great, because I don't know who made that call about the hot spot. It is a hot spot. I mean, that's where we do our grocery shopping and dentists and workouts, and that's really a good spot to get your shots, as far as I'm concerned. I know other Rite Aids aren't doing it too, but this little town is very little, so we'll take all we can get, please.
No problem. If you could, and I don't want to put you under the gun, and you can always follow up with an email to me. Can you define what a hotspot is?
That I don't know. The ladies were telling me that inside. It means that there's not enough sick people there, I believe.
Okay.
That live in that vicinity.
Okay. Yeah, I can. I'll do some checking and be happy to follow up with you later on this week.
Okay. Well, that's fine, because I just had a neighbor next door pass away 2 weeks ago from it, so it's hot enough I could throw a rock and hit Rite Aid where I live. So.
Well, I'm very.
I know. I thank you though. Thank
sorry
you.
That you had to
Concerned
do.
about our city people
Thank you.
here. That's all.
Thank you, Russell. You have a great night.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item number 12. Same member, Mr. Holland.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Allie may touch on it a little bit later, but I want you to know that Allie has worked to get a direct correspondence with Golden Valley. So they're going to start being more responsive and help with telling them in partnership we want to help get the word out when they are getting shots and having vaccination clinics. So they have agreed they're going to work with us, as well as the rent relief program. Allie has touched base with the people that are running that program. We are going to have mobile workshops here in town for that. And so Allie's doing a good job of establishing those relationships and making sure that we're getting the notifications out in our social media as much as possible to make sure people have the opportunity to apply for those programs and take advantage of them.
Very good.
Just a couple quick things. We talked a little bit about Canal School Road today, and mind you, Catherine and I really know that is a road in great disrepair in our community. And unfortunately, before we got here, that got designed to the inappropriate standard, and that's why it's deteriorating so fast. It's probably going to require a full rebuild when we do that. And we are working with StanCog to try to get more money available. We also are looking at possibly using Measure L money to go on there as well. So the goal is to start at Hills Ferry, go down Canal School to the intersection of Inyo, and then run all the way to the cheese factory there and have that all rebuilt and reconstructed, because that area over there is horrible. And so in the meantime, we would also be putting utilities in Inyo and tying them into Canal School there. And when I say utilities, I'm talking about water and sewer. It's already formed in there. So I think the timeline for that, Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, the fiscal year 21-22 or 22-23, right in that area. So a lot of that work is already being designed. So before you know it, you're going to start seeing construction out there. Which leads me into the next thing, because we were talking about that, but we were talking about that in relationship to the improvements that are occurring at that intersection. With our news project, our $6.4 million grant, another $600,000 grant for the wetlands. There's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, and we're calling that the Newman Community Conservation Area. We are completing what's called a master plan that's going to show the council how we plan to proceed and develop all 4 components of that Newman Conservation Area. Because we have the storm drainage piece is what you signed today, and we're calling that news, right? So when you say news, that's storm drainage. Then we have the 10-acre piece, which is upper restoration of wetlands. Then we have the park piece, which is something that you also did today to allow us to apply for a grant for the park. And then the fourth component is the UC Merced Partnership. And so, how do these all work together? They need to work together. We have monthly charrettes, bi-weekly charrettes, where bi-monthly, where all the teams are working together to make sure they tie into one another. We want one cohesive project. Even though it's 4 components, we want them all to tie together like it's one big project. So what we did, and the council did this in the fall of last year, they authorized the preparation of a master plan. That shows all those pieces are going to tie together. And then to accompany that, we're doing an environmental document, a CEQA document, a negative declaration, if you will. And then that's going to be being released this month. It has to go out to all the state agencies for 30 days to allow them to comment on it. And then we'll bring that back to you, I believe, in early May. So you can approve the master plan and the environmental document to go in there. And that'll be our blueprint for how this is all going to work together, and all these components and pieces are going to work together. And so, Councilmember Pimentel, as part of that environmental document, we're looking at traffic. We're looking at all the different components that go into developing that site. So we are trying to take a comprehensive look at this project and make sure that we do the due diligence in terms of identifying what impact it's going to have on the immediate area as well as the community, and then mitigating those impacts. So there's a lot going on out there, but we're hoping the next 2 months you're going to see a document in front of you that's going to kind of show you the plan for moving forward for all 4 components to be tied together, and it's going to look like one big project that you can all be proud of.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just a couple cleanup things. Our LAFCO application for the phase 1 annexation is, that's already being processed by LAFCO. We are scheduled for April 28th to be heard by the LAFCO Commission on that item. And then lastly, the mayor and I will be doing a Zoom call with Senator Caballero. She's our state senator. If you guys have any issues or any items that you want us to bring before her, please text me or email me before Friday morning, and we'll bring that up and bring those to her attention. So. And that's all that I have, and I can answer any questions you may have.
I have a quick question. Michael, I know that you guys are moving, swiftly in terms of projects that come up, and I really appreciate how you guys are taking control of things. I think at one point we talked about school canal road work. Isn't Merced County fixed in there some kind of way?
Yes, Merced County is right at that project line. So this entire project is located in Merced County. The intersection of Canal School and Inyo is the county boundary.
So we were able to work things out with Merced County, right?
We have been. We've established relationships with key members there, not only at the county level, but also on the LAFCO level. And so we have established those relationships. We have shown them the project. We've talked to them about it. They are supportive of the project. They know the process that we're going through to get entitled, and they're supportive of those endeavors. So
that's great. Thank you so much, Mike.
Is there any way to cut that boundary into, this is probably a big project, but into the county?
I'm sorry, can you say the question again?
How difficult would it be to extend that into the county, or is it not necessary?
You mean to move the county line to put this project into Stanislaus County?
Yeah.
It's been done in the past. I don't know if it's an easy ask. I think ultimately you got to get it at the state level and get it done at that level. For something small like this, it may not be prudent. We've looked at some things in the past, and I will run those by you offline a little bit about what we would do if we moved the county line.
Right.
Well, let me say this, is that you want to keep it to yourself, because once they get involved, you don't control that money all the time, and they have some say. So if we control that money, we have full control in terms of how we spend those dollars. So I would say leave them out of it.
Leave them alone.
Any other questions for Michael? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on. Allie, you on tonight?
Mayor, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I know Michael touched subject on me getting a hold of Golden Valley. We are going to work side by side and hopefully getting more information out to the community when they return back. They are potentially returning back to that second round and hopefully bringing more vaccines with them. I know I talked to Yamila and in regards to getting the word out just to our community, both in English and Spanish and all the languages that we can via social media and the newspaper as well. Now, on the rental assistance program as well, we have worked with them to get more information out, primarily on our social media. Generally, on Friday evenings or Monday mornings, we have information for the rental assistance program. Currently, they're coming out to our community on Tuesdays from 9 to 4. They're at the First Baptist Church. Now, we're working on getting another site as well. But they are, available for people to seek the rental assistance program help. With that being said, moving on to the next thing, I wanted to remind everybody that we will be having a spring cleanup that has been populated on social media as well. So from the 5th through the 10th, we will be having spring cleanup, and I think possibly Ms. Catherine will touch on that subject as well. Switching gears a little bit, back to the farmers market. Farmers market will be taking place at the plaza. Now, I've said that before, and we talked about it last meeting. Currently, we have 33 booths signed up, food, produce, and art. We are still looking for produce vendors. I mean, we're still looking for all vendors, but primarily produce. So if you know any or anybody's interested, head on my way, and I can assist them with that. And we are also working on Fit Kids to have a successful Fit Kids for the months of June and July through the recreation program this year. So with that, if y'all have any questions, I can answer them for you.
I have a quick question for you. The program in terms of the vaccinations for the seniors, keep in mind that a lot of seniors don't do anything online. And you had mentioned in terms of churches, that's where you're going to catch a lot of your seniors. If you have some type of communications with the churches here in the city of Newman, that would be a huge outlet in terms of contacting people, letting them know that the seniors, that those shops will be available for them.
Absolutely, and I can take note to reaching out to every single church and making sure we can get all of our seniors informed, as well as going to their primary locations, maybe giving out more information.
Thank you, Allie.
Any other questions for Allie? No? Thank you, Allie. Moving on, Chief Richardson.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Just a quick reminder that there is a lot of phone scams going on currently. Callers, you should never pay any bill with Apple Pay or a Target gift card over the phone. If they say you'll get a warrant for your arrest because you did not pay your taxes, the Newman Police Department will not call you if our phone number does show up like we are calling you and telling you have a warrant. We will not do that, I promise. We'll just come find you. And just be aware of the things that don't sound right probably aren't right. And if you have any questions about it, before you make a payment, just give us a call and we'll help you through it. Also, a reminder of the canine crab feed that's coming up May 8th. Get your tickets for the drive-through crab feed. If you have previous tickets from last year and have not turned them in, please turn them in, and you can get your money back or get tickets for this year's event. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Chief?
I'd just like to thank Chief, for his due diligence in terms of reaching out to the community, especially our seniors. I know he has a heart for our youth and our seniors. And I just thank you so much, man, for your work that you do. And it's important that we take care of these seniors here in the city of Newman. And the things that you're doing, especially those scams that's happening these days, sometimes our seniors get caught up in that. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing. God bless you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Hey, Chief, I remember, those calls are becoming more and more. I think I get about 4 or 5 a day at least.
Me too.
A couple of years ago, last year maybe, somebody, maybe with the county, did an outreach for the elderly and put on a class for the elderly to learn about scams and that kind of stuff. Maybe, Michael, do you recall that?
We've done it had done it every year in town up until COVID. I didn't have one last year for the senior outreach, but if you look on our Facebook page, there's a lot of warning signs and things you can find on there, tips of how to handle it.
Right. Problem is, like Leroy said a little bit ago, the elderly don't get on Facebook that often. That's why they end up calling for some of this stuff and that.
I agree, but for the people that are listening and people that are on Facebook, hopefully they can spread the word to those that are not on Facebook or social media.
Exactly. Well, hopefully once COVID ends, we can get some of those programs back out for the elderly. Okay. Other questions? We'll move on. Lou, are you on?
I'm on. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Just real brief, our finance department is working with the other departments to get our budget developed for next year. We're on schedule and plan on presenting that in June. Also, on another note, our finance department sent out letters to some of our residents that are struggling making their utility payments. We gave them 5 different agencies that have funding available to help them out. And if anybody happens to be listening to this council meeting and is one of those who didn't get a letter from us or maybe got it and tossed it thinking it was just an advertisement, please contact our finance department. We can get you in contact with either of those agencies and help you get caught up. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Lou? Good. Thank you very much, Lou. Catherine, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the adoption of those resolutions tonight. It brings our project closer. As Michael said, I just wanted to give you a little bit more information on the master plan and the environmental document. Those will be out for circulation March 18th. And then you'll get a link so you can review them, look at them during the 30-day review period. And that's a time that comments will be solicited if there's any comments on the document, as well as it'll go out to all the agencies that are interested and have a stake in these projects, like all the permitting agencies and everything. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be brought to you in May. We did award our projects for the Main Street project and the sidewalk infill projects for FIG and on YOLO. And so we did our pre-construction meeting. We're working on the contracts right now. So as soon as we have good weather, we'll be constructing those projects. They're pretty short projects, so it won't be too much of an inconvenience. We've reminded the contractors that school will be back in session, we think, and so we need to take those precautions and also not to disrupt our downtown too much. So we're working out that schedule and the traffic control plan and all those things. So I appreciate the community's patience as we make some improvements that are necessary. The well project's moving forward as intended. We're not behind schedule. It's amazing going from week to week, seeing the progress. They've got a lot of crews out there, and the water operators for Newman are going to start going out there a couple hours every week and just really start seeing how everything's going to operate. So when it's time for us to take that system over, we'll be trained on it. and we'll have a few days training before we completely take it over. Public Works is out there. We are prepping for the cleanup. That's, as Allie said, April 5th through the 10th. There'll be a day in there where you can take your household hazardous waste. The county sponsors that, and they're out. Look at the flyer. I don't know that day exactly, but they're usually out there one day, and they'll have a trailer available for those kind of items like paint and oil and things like that. And then we also or unwanted things you might not even know what it is, and that's the place to take it. We're expecting some rain, so make sure your gutters are free. If you have brush, since we're still picking up brush, move it out so the gutter can run free. Make sure you only rain down the drain. Nothing else goes down the drain so we can protect our waterways. We'll also have tire amnesty, and so residents are encouraged, if they find tires, know where there's tires, see tires, bring up to 9 tires for the tire amnesty event, which will be held during the same time period during business hours of Public Works between the 5th and the 9th. And we get a grant to dispose of those tires, and so it's an important way to get rid of trash out there that could end up in somebody's almond orchard or in the river. I'll be glad to take any questions.
Any questions for Catherine? All right. Thank you for the tour on the water tank, you and Michael. It was pretty impressive how fast that's going up and how big it really is. Really kind of neat to see it coming. Big project, that's for sure.
You're welcome.
And on the trail on the project out there, I'd like to see those trails as long as we can make them so people don't have to do multiple laps.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Chief Bowen, you on?
I'm here. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I just got a couple of things for you tonight. Just a reminder, daylight savings is quickly approaching. So check your smoke detectors. Make sure you test them on a monthly basis. Replace the battery every 6 months. And then if you've had your smoke detectors longer than 10 years, it's time to replace them. Also wanted to let you guys know we are advertising bids for the front fence of the fire department. So that is located on our website if you know anyone that's interested in placing a bid. Other than that, I can answer any questions you guys might have.
Any questions for Chief? All right, none. Moving on. Item agenda number 13, items from City Council members. Councilman Ball?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilman McDonald?
Yes, is Allie still on?
I'm still here.
Just one quick thing. Have you ever heard the saying, float like a butterfly and sting like a bee?
I have.
For who?
Don't do that to her.
I don't know.
They have a great name, Muhammad Ali. I just want to say thank you guys this evening. It's been a great evening and we've accomplished some things, and God bless you all. And when the rain comes, I'm going to go outside and jump up and down in the rain.
I have one thing to say. I don't know who's in charge of street sweeping, but I ride bicycles and the bike paths need to be swept. I mean, that's where all the rocks and stuff acquire. The gutter's clean, the street's clean, but all the stuff in between where you get flat tires, that has to be swept, please.
I'll get a broom for you.
Yep, Merced is a long street. Come on, let's go at it right now. Let's go.
You have anything
That's all I have
else?
to say about that. We need to clean up the streets, the bike paths. That's all. Too much debris in them, really.
All right, John, you have anything else?
No, I'm good. I'm getting a headache.
You made it on. You have anything for us tonight? Hello? There he is.
No, I have nothing tonight. Sorry about, had to try to use my phone for my personal hotspot and I couldn't get it to work tonight. So anyway, so I finally called in. But I did notice on the the minutes from last meeting, it shows me absent. I was there. I was just late. I think Leroy, I was the one that was late, not Leroy.
That is correct. I believe Leroy was absent. Weren't you absent last meeting, Leroy?
No, actually I couldn't get online because we had changed internet, but Mike had got me on, I talked with Mike and he had put me on the phone.
That's right.
And then later on I was able to hook in.
Okay.
But you know, us old guys in this, this personal hotspot stuff,
Right.
You guys just got talking about us old guys, so.
Well, hopefully we can get back in person soon because
Yeah.
I don't like this internet stuff either. I don't have anything tonight. Thank you for, again, I already mentioned the things I had. Thank you for the tour and good work on the park and the wetlands and that whole project. It's an amazing project. I'm excited to see it coming forward, and that's all I have. So moving on to item number 14, I move for, movement for adjournment.
Move for
Second
adjournment.
that.
We got first and a second. Meeting adjourned.
I want to hang out longer. I want to hang out longer.
Thank you all.
Next time.
It'll come, don't worry.
Goodbye.